all right, Rob, we just talked about it briefly. You want a pair of Jordans courtesy of Patrick Mahomes. You should be liking him a little bit more now.
No, it was courtesy of Tom Brady. That's Tom Brady won me those with the awful start of the game.
He had his struggles. He also had some good moments, but he had his struggles
those were
as well.
after the game was kind of out of.
Nah, but you always act like a comeback is irrelevant.
It is unless you win the game.
It's not over once the team takes a lead. I mean, it's not like a team gets a 10-point lead and then relaxes. You're still playing football. So whether it's Brady, Wentz, Lamar Jackson, whoever it is, I mean, teams don't lighten up like that. You still got to play 60 minutes unless it's totally out of contention, and this game wasn't. But anyway, Rob, we know Pat Mahomes. Everyone knows that listens to this show, that follows me on Instagram. I put it out there. I was one of the first, if not the first, to say that this dude has GOAT potential. To say that this dude is Jordan-esque. And now Rex Ryan, who I think is great on TV because he'll say whatever he wants, Rob. No worries, no fears. I like that in Rex. He says, I'm not even going here. And he had his moment. He was good with the Jets at first. It just, it didn't work out. But he is saying, I'm not even going to go here because I just think it's too early to make this call. But he's saying he's the best quarterback he's ever seen. He's the best quarterback he's ever seen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's see it happen. But this dude has GOAT potential. And what he did yesterday, Rob, 359 yards in the first half. In the first half. Now, I know that Tampa defense, everybody wants to blame it on Brady, Arians, and they both certainly are to blame. But that defensive backfield, their pass coverage is getting worse every week. And Tyreek Hill made them look like they were running in quicksand or mud or something like that because he had well over 200 yards receiving in the first half. And so Mahomes goes for 359 in the first half. Rob ends up 462 as far as yardage, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 125 passer rating, and became the first NFL player in history with at least 30 completions and 300 passing yards in 4 straight games. Now, I certainly think he's the MVP. I think you're in that camp as well. But where I want to go is here, Rob. What we're seeing, we all know is special, and we should enjoy it, and I think everybody is enjoying it. To me, this is what happens when all-time talent links up with an all-time great coach. And maybe some would disagree that that's Andy Reid. I know he's only got the 1 Super Bowl. We'll see how many more he wins with Mahomes. But he was great in Philadelphia. I know never got over the hump. But getting that team to how many straight in the NFC championship games? 4 or something like that. And, obviously got to a Super Bowl. You saw he turned Kansas City around immediately from a horrendous team to a contender in his first year. This dude's a tremendous coach with his offensive, play calling and all that he does, his offensive schemes and the like. And so when elite talent meets elite coaching like this is what happens. Michael Jordan was an elite talent. When he got with Phil Jackson, the rest is history. 6 championships. And the GOAT status. Shaq and Kobe, elite talents. When they got with Phil Jackson, whether it was together or whether it was Kobe and Phil just by themselves, you saw what happened. And then on the other hand, a LeBron James who's never had that all-time great coach. He has some good coaches, but never that all-time great coach. Great career, but I think he'd have even more championships had he been with a Popovich, a Phil Jackson, a Pat Riley, like the other guys he's compared to. Aaron Rodgers cannot ever deny how great this guy is. But he's got 1 Super Bowl. Never, in my view, a lot of that is on him never having that ultra elite coach. Peyton Manning got 2. He had the one with Tony Dungy, who is a very good coach. And then he got the one in Denver. But I believe this is what happens, Rob, when you combine those two. The one exception, and I don't know if this says something about the quarterback or the coach, but the one exception, and you were around for this too, Dan Marino and Don Shula. Never, obviously an elite talent on both positions, but never was able to get that Super Bowl. But this is what having Andy Reid, as great as Mahomes is, and I think he'd be great anywhere, but having Andy Reid, his expertise, that I believe could play a major part in whether or not Mahomes can reach that GOAT status.
Yeah, I think it's overblown. I think it's the way you've dubbed Andy Reid as this guy had an under 500 record most of his career in the playoffs. I don't know, Rob G. Can you give me the updated number? The last one I saw was 11-13. I think he's probably at 500 now. But Andy Reid's career was about being a regular season coach who failed often in the playoffs and was considered a loser who couldn't finish the job. And he finally got the one Super Bowl last year. And now the narrative is that he's the greatest coach ever, which I'm not so sure. That? I just think that
I'm sure he's not.
the Chiefs, to me, it's not about Andy Reid. It's about all the talent and weapons that they have and the speed. I don't believe it's Andy Reid, and I'm not trying to say that he's not a good coach or that he doesn't matter, but I don't believe that the reason Mahomes has had as much success has anything to do with Andy Reid more so than it has with all the weapons that are at his disposal and his talent. That's why the Chiefs are good. That's why they're hard to beat. And I've seen Andy Reid for decades, for years in the National Football League, and I've seen him lose many games. And I'm not there to think that Mahomes' success is just because Andy Reid is there. You take those pieces away, to Tyreek Hill and all these running backs and all the other stuff that they have, and I'd like to see Andy Reid win. They're loaded. So I don't believe it's Andy Reid. I mean, that's the way you see it. I see it as the talent on. I see it as the talent on the field that's around Patrick Mahomes.
I don't see it as Andy Reid. I see it as Pat Mahomes. I mean, Pat Mahomes is, like I said, I think he has
you
GOAT
just made
potential.
a case about having a great coach being attached.
I do think Andy Reid is a great coach, and I do think him being there helps Mahomes. I don't think he's the reason. Like I said this in my spiel. Mahomes anywhere else would be great too, but this seems like a match made in heaven.
In modern history, 4 times has there been a team that had an 18-point lead at halftime and lost in the playoffs. 4 times in the history of the NFL. Andy Reid coached the 2 of them that lost, and all the other coaches and all the other teams in the rest of the history of the NFL lost the other 2. So when you talk about how great Andy Reid is and all that, I've seen all the terrible postseason performances, all the choke jobs. They lost at home in Kansas City. I don't think he's great. I think he's a very good coach. I don't think Andy Reid is great with 1 Super Bowl after 20 years of coaching. I don't.
What if he ends up with 4?
I'm talking about now. We're just talking about right now in Andy Reid's career. If it ended right now, I wouldn't. If it ended today, I wouldn't think he was a great coach.
Peyton Manning was great before that second Super Bowl.
Peyton Manning won 5 MVPs.
Aaron Rodgers is great.
He won 5 MVPs, didn't he?
That's still regular season. Your point,
but 5 MVPs is nothing to sneeze
at. Regular season.
I just don't think a coach that
Aaron
has lost.
Rodgers is great.
That has lost as much as he has. I'm just talking about Andy Reid.
I'm just saying. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if we're gonna say because he's only won 1 Super Bowl, he's not.
No, I didn't say that. He had a losing record in the postseason. It's not just that. He's also choked down some of the biggest. He's had some of the biggest chokes in the history of the NFL. I just gave you the number. It's only happened 4 times, and Andy Reid had it twice. 4 times in
that's
the history of the
fine,
league.
But that doesn't mean he's a horrible coach.
I didn't say he was horrible.
Those are 2
He's not on my
games.
great coach list.
Those are 2 games. But
not.
the bottom line is, my point is not that Andy Reid is the reason Pat Mahomes is what he is. I was saying this without Andy Reid's name coming out of my mouth.
The whole topic is about having a great coach.
But I'm saying the combination.
But your topic is about having a great coach with a great player. So it's about Andy Reid, right? It has to be about him.
It's not about Andy Reid being the reason Pat Mahomes is doing what he's doing.
I didn't say that's not what you said. No, it's not.
You did. Your whole
but your whole premise is about having a
great
great coach. I'm telling you, Andy Reid isn't. Not in my book. He's a very good coach, but he's not a great coach. He's lost too much.
That just enhances what Pat Mahomes is if you think he's doing this without even a great coach. How much credit does Andy Reid deserve for what Patrick Mahomes is doing? 877-99 on Fox. Your turn to weigh in.
All right, let's kick it off with Sean in Sacramento. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Sean?
My uncle's from another mother, man. I've been missing y'all this whole break. How y'all holding up?
Man, all is good.
We good, man. We good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'd be even better if I had Jason McIntyre to bet every single time, man. You call for that, Uncle Rob. Hustling him like you got loaded dice in your back pocket and you playing a game of craps. Come on now,
All you know is my record is 2-0 when I bet Jordans. I got a streak going.
Hey, undefeated. Chris, keep your $200 in your pocket, bro. Don't be making no more bets until 2021.
No, we got to bet. Man. Brady's got to get to the Super Bowl. We already got to bet for Jordans.
Did we have a bet about the playoffs? Tampa getting to the playoffs or not?
Yeah, that was wings. That was wings. Yeah. All right, Sean, what you got, buddy?
Hey, Uncle's running from that 2 Super Bowls for Mahomes in the next 3 years, but I ain't even going to mention that.
He ran from that.
But my point real quick. On that. Right. After giving you props, man, I got to tell you, stop it. Come on, man. How you not going to give Andy Reid his props? Number one, he went up in the draft to get Mahomes, so he recognized talent just like CB did, and he noticed that Jordan-like talent come right out of college. Number two, just look at what he did for Michael Vick, man. My guy was out the pen, hasn't played any kind of football in dang near 3 or 4 years, and he came out with what, a Pro Bowler? How you going to show Andy Reid short, man? He's shown that as long as he has the talent, as long as he has the fan support, unlike what he had in Philadelphia, he could do whatever it takes. And I'm predicting 3 out of the next 5 Super Bowls are going to Kansas City as long as they keep him as the head coach. Come on now.
All right, Sean, with the strength. I like it.
877-99 on Fox. Colton in New Mexico. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
How you gentlemen doing this evening?
We are great, man. How are you?
I am fantastic on this Monday. I'm feeling good today.
Great.
So I absolutely think that Andy Reid deserves quite a bit of the credit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes is some scrub without him. He would definitely be a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, but I don't think we'd be talking about him as the potential GOAT or soon-to-be GOAT. I mean, just look what he did. Andy Reid did with Alex Smith right before Mahomes went in. They went to the playoffs with Alex Smith at quarterback. And
how many games did they win during those playoffs?
They went from 2-14 to 11-5 in Reid's first year.
That is the amount of wins is irrelevant because they did not have, like I said, he's no scrub. They didn't have that talent there at that position, but Andy Reid coached them and helped them to get in the best situation to get to those playoffs. But what I also want to say is that it's also the situation that Mahomes got into with the talent around him, with the people around him that were already there before all of the stardom and the MVP breakout year, 50 touchdown year. He wasn't just throwing to no names. He was throwing to one of the best tight ends in the league, one of the best receivers in the league. Yeah, they brought in another guy in Sammy Watkins, but it's not all just Mahomes. It's the entire situation, and the coach is the one to get those players in the best situation.
It's a
all
good,
right, thanks for the call.
Good situation.
Dwayne in Colorado, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, it's
Dwan, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, guys, always a pleasure.
What's
good
up,
to
buddy?
have you on, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. You kind of have a new appreciation for what you guys do when you actually call in on the national audience and you got people pushing back on your arguments. I really appreciate what you guys do. It takes skill.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate that.
I just wanted to add that I think Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit. When you look at what that offense does, that is the most versatile offense I've seen in a long time. If it's not motion or counter, it's a jet sweep. They stretch the field. They're hard on dives. It's literally a wizard's concoction to keep a defense guessing, and that's why they have so much success. So the architects of that versatile offense, which is Reid and his staff, they have to be given credit for that. Then you have a dual threat as a quarterback. No wonder he's better at what Russell Wilson and those guys do, which makes them extremely dangerous, and that's just what I wanted to add. It's that versatility of the offense and the way they move the defense that makes them successful.
Thank you.
Good
Marty
call.
in Kentucky. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marty?
What's up, fellas? Good to hear from you this Monday.
Yes, brother. How are you?
Magic City Monday.
That's right, Magic City Monday. I'm sorry. I should never forget that.
Don't forget that. You know, we got to put these young girls through school. You know that.
There's nothing wrong with crediting a team effort. Andy Reid is obviously a skilled coach when it comes to offense. Patrick Mahomes is clearly someone that we see do things that at an age we haven't seen other guys do before. And the weapons out there are stacked. It's a team effort, and it's okay. You're not knocking one group by crediting the other. Andy Reid has never had an unsuccessful quarterback. Donovan McNabb, you got Michael Vick. Even if you guys remember the name Kevin Kolb, Kevin Kolb come in for a little while and had great numbers, and they used him for draft capital and traded him to Arizona and got real good draft capital out of him. They got Nick Foles. Alex Smith come in and had his only Pro Bowl years under the guy. The guy knows how to run an offense, and you see a lot of guys wide open. Patrick Mahomes makes great plays, and there's good weapons. And time will tell when the weapons dwindle from free agency and Andy Reid retires. We'll see more of Mahomes by himself. But the NFL's a league where you need to fall into some luck. You need to have a good coach, a good O-line, good weapons. You need to fall into a spot. There's been great quarterbacks that just fell into a terrible situation and they never made anything of themselves. So I'm not knocking anybody by crediting the other. I just think all three assets there are great.
No, that's well said. I mean, Brady obviously had Belichick and great defenses. Joe Montana had Jerry Rice, and then T.O., Steve Young, T.O. I mean, so it's you're right. It's a team effort in the NFL. That's for darn sure.